All right. Hello, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Man, what a milestone. We finally reached 500. And so, just want to thank you all for tuning in, who's listening right now, or who'll be listening in on the replay. So, y'all already know I am your host, Sigma Jones. So, let me go ahead and give a shout out to the subscribers out there. Thanks for listening in. Thanks for tuning in. I truly appreciate the love and support. Man, like I said before, we finally hit 500. And so, as promised, this is a stream dedicated to you all, the fans, the subscribers. This is my way of saying thank you for helping this channel, not just myself, but those who also help to contribute to it, like Dr. Phoenix, Shinobi Bro, and many others who are come up on the panels and everything. Definitely just want to give a shout out to everybody that has helped to like, share, and subscribe to this channel. And so, definitely on behalf of everybody, just want to say arigatou gozaimasu. So, let's see. Altruism. Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you so much. For some reason, the chat on my side is kind of acting strange, but thankfully I was able to see the chat. Excuse me. So we'll see how it goes later on. So in the meantime, definitely just want to talk about um, what's the plan going forward now that we reach 500. And so this is where you guys get to come in to hear firsthand of what's going to be going on. So, many of you who are subscribers, you have already come accustomed to my chat bot that helps me out in the chat, and that is Bottissimo. So, through Bottissimo, now that we reach 500, we're going to start doing some campaigns through this chatbot. And so, those who are not familiar with Bottissimo, it's an AI bot that kind of helps to maintain the chats and everything for me, helps me to kind of post links and whatnot. So that way, you moderators, you don't have to constantly be posting links and everything. The chatbot handles all of that. And so you guys also will be able to enjoy the show without having to constantly watch the chat to moderate and all. So, in the meantime, Bottissimo, now that we reach 500, this thing is now going to be kicked into full gear. So, what does that mean? It's going to start campaigning this channel on many different platforms. So, we're talking Facebook Live, we're talking other Facebook streamers, we're talking D Live. Any platform that uses Bottissimo, this channel is now going to be broadcasted and campaigned on those particular streams. So what's going to happen is we'll pretty much put up the ad as far as like our logo and whatnot, and it kind of works two ways. So we'll be able to put our information out there for everybody who's interested. And then at the same time, while we're doing live streams here, you guys will get a chance to see some you will also get a chance to see ads and campaigns from other my bad. I realized I just had them. Anywho, you'll also get a chance to see campaigns from other streamers as well. So who knows? You might see a streamer who will pop up in the chat who you might be interested in their products and everything. So that's where Bottissimo comes into play. It'll allow us to reach out to a broader audience, while at the same time, you guys will also get a chance to see other streamers and other content creators advertised through the chatbot. So that's where we're going right now that we hit 500. So why are we going through this campaign route? Well, we're doing it for two reasons. Number one, I'm mainly trying to do this so I can free up my space a little bit with the Black Ronin. So this will give me a chance to also focus on other projects like the War Room. I really want to start to get that one up and going, at least on Instagram. So we can kind of start drawing some more audience over to that side as well. And so by doing Bottissimo with the campaign, this will allow me to be able to focus more time and energy on that project, while at the same time, we're still reaching audience and everything through the Black Ronins and Bottissimo. So that's one. And then number two, the main reason why to do this is I really am pushing to get to 1,000 subscribers. The reason being is because once we get to 1,000 subscribers here on YouTube, I'll finally be able to use the community tab. I'll be able to share with you guys as far as some things and interests I'm hearing from Japan. Share with you content from other content creators that are, doing martial arts and Budo and even Japanese folklore on the side. So we're really going to use the campaign to try to get to 1,000. And I truly believe this will help us get there. Maybe not quicker, but it will definitely help speed up the process. And so those are the main two reasons. Um, Mainly, like I said, to kind of help me free up some space so I'll be able to focus on other projects. And then at the same time, help us to get to the next milestone, which is 1,000. So that way I can start using the community tab. Dr. Phoenix and Shinobi Bro can also post on the community tab through this channel and everything. So you guys will be able to be more so into the loop. So again, that's the project. And so with that said, definitely just want to thank you all again for helping us to reach 500. Even on Instagram right now, we are very close to reaching 300. So even that avenue is growing pretty quickly. But definitely because YouTube is our main source to do the podcast and all, this definitely is a great milestone. So just want to thank everybody for helping us to do that. So with that being said, so now we get to the fun part, the Q&A. And so for you, the fans, and those who have just subscribed to the channel, and you may not know as far as like Sigma Jones, Dr. Phoenix, Shinobi Bro, this is your chance to ask me some questions, and I could definitely help to give the best answers possible. At least best answers from me. From Dr. Phoenix and Shinobi Bro. If they're in the chat, they could definitely answer the questions on their behalf. But in the meantime, because this is the main channel, I'll definitely be hosting the Q&A. So, without further ado, this is you guys' hour. I'm pretty much going to be here until the next 48 minutes. And so, if anybody out there got questions for yours truly, feel free to ask in the chat. The floor is now yours. All right, so let's see. Shout out to Free Zone Lou. Thank you, good sir. Shout out to my man, Isa Sama. Thank you for that. And shout out to Atruism. Thank you, good sir. And we already got our first question. So Atrium asked, how many times have you been to Japan? So far, I've only been to Japan once. And I only been back in September 2019. So pretty much right before the pandemic hit. Hopefully, going into this summer, if Japan reopens back up fully, I plan to be back sometime later this fall, if not early winter. And so far, only been to Japan one time. Good question. Good question. All right. My man Isa Sama. He says, being you're an anime watcher, what are some of the bands from anime or just Japanese music in general you enjoy listening to? Ooh, that's a good one. Wow. I don't have a particular band or groups of bands that I listen to, but I do like listening to a lot of the soundtracks. So like the soundtrack for Jujutsu Kaisen, I definitely like listening to that. Um, let's see. That's another good soundtrack. Bleach has some pretty good soundtracks as well, so I definitely love listening to their music every now and then. Um, Honestly, it just depends. Like if I'm watching an anime and I feel like their soundtrack is pretty good, I'll just look it up, see what's their soundtrack on YouTube, and then just have it as a playlist. So yeah, That's pretty much just Japanese music in general. And then, of course, I also listen to like traditional Japanese music, like taiko, um, the shikazen, and then the um, oh my goodness, is another instrument. But anyway, that's another type of Japanese music I do listen to. So yeah, very good question, Aiza Sama. A Truism asks, are you planning to stay there? Right now, no. Reason being is because I'm pretty much set in my career here in America. So to jump ship and start all over in Japan, I'm not ready to do that just yet. However, Japan is definitely in my retirement plan. And so me and Miss Kagome, we're already kind of doing some game planning for retirement, as far as like property in Japan, where we're going to stay and everything. So I am definitely looking forward to spending the rest of my last living days in the land of the rising sun. If not Vancouver, but definitely that's the plan. All right. Atrium says Flow and Lark NCL are good ones. Yeah, very true. And salute to masculinity. Good to see you, sir. Isaac Sama says, cool, I really got into Rookies as punk because of Japanese anime, but the Bleach soundtracks are fire. Yes. You know, I haven't checked out Rookies as punk, but I'll definitely have to check them out too. So, good recommendation. Masculinity said it takes a while to make such a big move. Exactly. You know, if I was still, in my early 20s or late teenage years and I decided to jump ship to Japan, I will probably do so. But right now, just turned 30. I'm already kind of climbing the ladder, corporate ladder in my career and everything. So definitely would be tough to stop that, go overseas, and then start all over. So to me, it's just best to just wait until retirement age and then make the move there. But definitely still plan to travel every so often. Altruism says blowout syndromes have been stepping up too. That's true. That's true. Aizasawa says you gotta keep me up on those countryside areas of Japan. I love to retire there in my latter years. Bro, like I said in the last Black Ronin's podcast, there are like five, six, seven, 8 bedroom homes in the countryside of Japan that are selling pennies on the dollar. So to me, that's a steal. Just in and of itself, real estate in Japan, that's a steal. So highly recommend looking into that. Masculinity says, thanks for all you do, sir. Hey, thank you as well. Thank you for being such a great supporter of this channel. My man Free Zone Loon asks, if you could take anything from Japan and bring it to the States, what you choose? More than one answer would do. That's a pretty good question. I could take anything from Japan. Hmm. I would say definitely as far as the discipline, as far as a lot of Japanese people do. Oh, for sure. Like the food, yes. If I could take the quality of the food from Japan and bring it back home, I will probably tell you my lifestyle will be much more improved. And this is where Miss Kagome comes in because once she once she moves over here after we get married overseas, she'll be the main chef as far as in the house making the food. So look forward to that. Just got to make sure we find the right ingredients and everything. And thankfully, in the areas that I'm going to be moving pretty soon, as far as my new house, there's a big Asian market that has a lot of products overseas. So that's definitely going to help out in the long run. But good question, Friezo. Very good question. I just always said, yeah, I want to get on that very soon. Yes, sir. Definitely take advantage when you can. And then he asked, how many areas in Japan have you visited? Where do you want to visit Japan that you haven't? So, on my last trip, I pretty much visited most of urban Tokyo, and then I also visited Yokohama and Yokosuka. Yokosuka is pretty much the military base of Tokyo, and then Yokohama is kind of like a city next to another big city. If you could think of if you could think of like Dallas and Fort Worth, that's how Yokohama is to Tokyo. So it's much smaller than Tokyo, but it's a city in its own right. So on my last trip, those were most of the areas I visited. And then hopefully later this year, if I'm able to travel back again, I'm definitely going to be visiting the Kansai region. So you're looking at places like Kyoto, Osaka, Hyogo, pretty much those areas. That's the next area I'm going to plan to visit going back to Japan. And then eventually, after visiting those cities, I definitely, on the next trip afterwards, I want to go visit Hiroshima. And I mainly want to go there for like the war room. So do some historical videos in regards of um, the Hiroshima bombings and everything. And also Nagasaki is not too far, so definitely want to visit there to get some more videos of that. And then eventually I want to visit Hokkaido, which is on the northern end of Japan. That's where they get a lot of their snows and more of their wood environment. And then of course I also want to visit Okinawa. That's like the Hawaii of Japan. But yeah, so many places to visit. Good question, Aizasama. All right. And again, ladies and gents, take your time. This hour is for you all, the fans and subscribers. So any questions that you have, feel free to ask them. Masculinity says, you have talent in so many areas. Would not be surprised if you were public speaking. I don't know about that as far as public speaking, but definitely thank you. I try to hold in on the skills that I do have and then try to learn, some new ones if need be. So I have to say this with YouTube has kind of helped with my creativity. So as far as video edits, as far as going out on locations to do some video shots and screens and everything, this was something I didn't really get a hold of until I started a YouTube channel. So still brand new in regards to that, but definitely appreciate the compliment masculinity. Atrium says, when did you start with martial arts and which do you prefer? Very good question. So my first form of martial arts, atriism, actually came through taiko, which is Japanese drumming. And so I did taiko, I want to say back in 2017. So 2017 is when I started doing taiko. And that's when I kind of started learning more and more about um, Japanese culture and about Budo and the martial arts. And then recently, I want to say, yeah, definitely want to say 2020, I started learning Kendo. And that's, the art of the Japanese sword and everything. Kendo is really fun. I have my own Shikai. I haven't joined a club yet, but eventually, once things kind of settle with the job and the house and everything, I do plan on wanting to join a Kendo club. But there's one particular martial arts I really want to get into, and right now I'm having a tough time finding clubs about it, and that is Kyudo, which is Japanese archery. That, like Jessica TV and Audio, our male guest earlier this month had told us, Kyudo is probably the purest form of Bushido in regards of this is more closer to the spirit of the samurai than any other type of martial arts, or at least Japanese martial arts. Most people outside of Japan, when they think of a samurai, they always think of a warrior with the katana, the sword. But in actuality, the samurai was mainly known for his marksmanship through archery. And so I really want to get into Kyudo once I'm able to find a good club within my area to kind of learn more from there as well as far as Bushido training. And then also too, I will be training with Sensei Takai. Now, his training is on a whole different level. And Naturism, if you haven't seen the interview we did with Sensei Takai, definitely get a chance to do so. That is probably one of the most enlightening interviews we have ever done so far. But yeah, that's what I'm doing so far as martial arts. And like I said, like you asked, which do I prefer? Right now, if I was doing something for fun, it would be Taiko. But if I want to do something that's more in the spirit of the samurai spirit, Bushido, I definitely want to do Kyudo with Kendo coming in second place. So, very good question. Isaac Sama says, after your stream with Mrs. Jessica, are you thinking of taking up archery? And would have a martial arts stream similar to the Villain of the Month panel that we'll be having over here. You know, um, Aizen Sama, I have been thinking of that where once I'm able to get into some of my training, like Kendo and um, Bushido, I definitely want to do like a new series where I do some shots of my training, as far as like the philosophies and all. Definitely with Kyoto, I would like to show as far as like some footage of how that goes. But yeah, I would say later on that would be in the works. As I said, definitely want to learn Kendo and Kyudo. Oh yeah, yeah, especially Kyudo. A lot of I was definitely earlier today. I was at a Japanese market and I was talking to the store clerk, which I met through my Taiko sensei, and I told her that I was interested in learning about Kyudo. And she says, "Oh yeah, if you want to become a true samurai, you gotta learn Kyudo." So, being that she's Japanese and she's telling me all this, it's like okay, if people are telling me that Kyudo is the truest form of a samurai, I'll definitely try to get my hands on on learning that. Isazama says, "Forgot about Bushido." Yep, yes sir. Isazama said, "That would be awesome. It's been a while since I've practiced martial arts. Your channel takes me back to my Cha 13 Karate Kempo days." Isazama, Definitely let me know when you do go back to karate or even start training again. Definitely would love to bring you on so we could talk more about your training and as far as how's that part of Bushido plays a role in your daily life. So definitely want to keep tabs on that. All right, masculinity says I think Adrian Paul from Highlander was interested in Bushido. Hmm. Okay, I have to check him out. All right, what other questions or comments you guys have? Aizawa says, I need to get back to my judoka days as well. I really enjoy the guys I used to train with, and one of them is a close friend to this day. Awesome. Awesome. I heard judo is pretty good too. Definitely want to keep tabs on that. Masculinity says, he is older now. I think he is 57 or so. The shows were mostly in his late 20s for Highlander. Okay, cool. I would definitely have to check that out. Highlander. All right. Hmm. Hmm. Masculinity says to Aiza Sama, guys that take up martial arts make some of the best friends. They live by code of honor. I agree. I agree. My man JJ Wilson. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Uh glad to hit that milestone. Now on to 1,000. And so, like I was telling people earlier, we're gonna be going full steam ahead with Battissimo. It's gonna help us with some campaigns to draw in more people to the channel and all. So definitely want to hit 1,000 so that way we can get the community tab. And I definitely want to be able to share with you guys a lot of daily content as far as like other Budo martial artists, any news from Japan, also some Japanese folklore and everything. Which, by the way, there's a channel that I follow called Kowabana. They have some interesting Japanese folklore that I really want to be able to utilize once I get the community tab. But yeah, that's the goal. You know what, JJ just remind me, because I'm not on the Black Ronins stream right now, I'm not able to play you guys' his intro and everything, but may have to see if I can utilize those intros next time when I'm not on the platform. Like I said, you guys, this is your hour, so any questions or comments, just feel free to ask away. JJ Wilson says, I am printing a long document for the grandparents right now. Oh, cool. Aizawa says, you just inspired me to look up my old Kenpo karate instructor. Oh, okay, there you go. There you go. And believe me, I am also trying to get other Budo instructors or Budo martial artists to interview as well. So that way they can kind of share their experience, not just as far as if they've been to Japan or whatnot, but also just their experience as far as getting into Budo and how much Budo has changed their way of life, as far as their influence. Eyes and some ass. Have you taken up any other forms of combat techniques other than the Japanese forms? Yes. So I do go to a regular boxing gym. And so there's a gentleman not too far from my job. He runs his own boxing gym where I go there to kind of work on techniques as far as regular boxing and everything, some footwork. But yeah, I haven't done any other non Japanese combat forms or techniques, but you know, I may have to look into it. But so far, that's the only non Japanese training that I do as far as um, combat. So, yep, boxing. JJ Wilson says, speaking of martial arts, my TKD instructor, TKD being Taekwondo, told me about a regional tournament I could do. I went to this one before, but it was in May to make up for last year with COVID and everything. Hey, let me know how that goes, JJ, if you do participate. We may have to bring you on so you can kind of tell us your experience as well. H was asked your top five anime. Okay, that's a very good question. Let me first give you my top three. So, my top three animes that I love to watch, and I have no problem watching reruns whatsoever. Number one, Bleach. And speaking of Bleach, they're going to be coming out with the Thousand Year War series later on this fall. So I'm definitely going to be tuning into that. May get some inspirations from that particular series. But Bleach, definitely number one. Number two, Samurai Trooper, also goes by the name of Ronin Warriors. That's definitely a series that I grew up as a child watching and everything. So that's definitely my number two. And number three is Samurai X or Rurouni Kitchen. So that's at least my top three. The next two spots, number four. That's a good one. I guess you could say number four. I would put in Naruto. That seems to be a pretty good series. At least the at least the first series, Naruto and Naruto Shippuden. The other one, Boruto, I haven't really watched much of that, but I definitely have to check it out. And then number five, I have to throw in Saint Seiya. That's probably a non samurai or non shinobi type of anime that's definitely one of my favorites to watch. So yeah, Saint Seiya comes in at number five. All right. Robert Chavez says, "Congrats on 500. Thank you, sir. Much appreciated." Aizasama says, "Cool. We really got to have this conversation. I trained in boxing as well and briefly did some Kali training as well." Ooh. Okay. That's, man, Aizasama, you hitting on some very good topics, man. We definitely going to have to hit up on that. He said, "Yeah, can't wait for October." Yes, the 1,000 Year War for Bleach. Definitely looking forward to that. Robert Chavez asks, "What are Japanese women like?" Ah, man, this is probably the most common question that gets asked. So, all I can tell you is this: you have to experience them for yourself. I know Kitty Jones talks about them. I've talked about them sometime and everything, but really, you won't know for sure until you go to Japan and experience them for yourself. All I can say is, from my experience, they have been pretty awesome. And shout out to Miss Kagome because she's a ride or die. Atrism says the 1,000 Year War is going to be fire. Yes, sir. Yes, indeed. Robert Chavez says favorite villains in Naruto is Orochimaru and Pain. Mm, not bad. Not bad. Masculinity says to Aiza-sama, Dan Inosanto and Bruce Lee trained in Kali. Okay. I never heard of Dan Inosanto, but Bruce Lee, yeah, I've heard he did train in Kali. Masculinity also said Japanese women are so respectful. For the most part, yeah. So if you're a guy like me that, you just cool with just one woman, Japanese woman definitely will help you in that regard. Aizasama says Bruce Lee said that if he could teach a man two things, it would be boxing and wrestling. That is true. He did say that. And then A Truism asks, which anime were you inspired by? So definitely the top three that I have mentioned: Bleach, Samurai Troopers, and Rurouni Kitchen or Samurai X. Those three definitely inspired me in regards to my interest in Japanese culture and especially in Budo, in Japanese martial arts. So I would definitely say out of those three, they were the ones that influenced me the most and definitely inspired me the most. Oh wait a minute, you said which anime that you were surprised by? Hmm, you know, I wasn't really surprised by animes much. I mean, there are definitely some really good shows and all, but to me, growing up, they're just like any other type of kid shows. I just think anime was more realistic, far as like I can relate to it more so than some of the, especially cartoons today. I can't relate to any of the cartoons today, but anime for the most part, I can relate to that. Aizasama says was learning a few moves in Kali because of my Kenpo instructor and some Jeet Kune Do as well, but not much in Jeet Kune Do. Very cool. Someone also says, I haven't seen Ronin Warriors for long, forgot how good anime it was. Yes, sir. Very good. I'm surprised they haven't done any remakes of it, which to me that's probably a good thing, but you never know. JJ Wilson says, I've been following a channel that does Baji Quan. Baji Quan, a Chinese martial art that involves heavy blows using the shoulders, elbows, fists, and palm hands. Okay. Hmm. I will have to check that out. Never heard of Baji Quan. Isaba says you should really check out World's End Harem. It's so crazy how the main theme of the anime is a possibility that the Western world could be heading towards. You know what, Isaac? I think I saw a preview of that, and I was kind of curious about it. But now that you mention it, and based off of your recommendation, I'll definitely go and watch it. World's End Harem. So, and you know what? If it's right in line of what you're saying, the Western world may be going into, we may have to do a review on that. So, I'm definitely now going to watch it. JJ says I tease my brother all the time about harems. Well, here's the thing, JJ. And this baby goes in line with the question of Robert Chavez, what Japanese women are like. When they say art imitates life, there's some truth when it comes to harems. Now, I won't go into much details, but let's just say there is definitely some truth behind the whole Japanese harems. JJ said he draws anime commissions. I tease about doing harem pics. Oh, boy. Very cool. Aizawa says it's not a whole lot of action, but it's a great thriller and suspenseful. Good sir, because you recommend it, I'm gonna watch it. So I am definitely going to check that out. Jay Wolf, good to see you, sir, and thank you so much. Glad that you are a fan and subscriber of the channel. So thank you. Oh wow. And breaking news right now on Instagram, we have just reached 300 followers on our Instagram page. So thanks again for all you guys that are fans of Black Ronins and fans of Culture Bomb with Dr. Phoenix. Yeah, you guys are awesome. And Suo 1987 says, congrats on reaching the 500 mark. Thank you, sir. I remember you went to Vancouver a while back thinking about visiting. How was your experience? SYSBM friendly? Yeah, Vancouver is very fun. In fact, I'm thinking about going back there sometime next spring. I'm kind of waiting to see. Now, this is sports related, but I'm kind of waiting to see if the XFL is going to bring back the Seattle Dragons back up there for spring football. If they do, that'll give me a good reason to go up to Seattle again. But I'm already planning to make a trip to Vancouver next spring. I got some friends from Japan and Korea that are currently staying in Vancouver, so all the more reason for me to go up there. As far as Vancouver being SYS being friendly, I can definitely tell you this. I have seen a lot of black men with non-black women up in Vancouver. So it's definitely a hotbed. But yeah, I definitely like Vancouver. I love the scenery as far as like the mountain backdrop. You have the city that's in the middle, and then off to the west side of the city is the whole Vancouver Bay and the ocean and all. So yeah, very fun. Very fun. JJ has, has any of you seen those pregnant male emojis on the iPhones? Nope, and I have no plans. He said that will be my next topic in my corner series. I will definitely be checking that out. Let's see. Freezolu, thanks again. Yeah, I just got notified that we had some followers on Instagram, so we are now at 300. So 500 on YouTube, 300 on Instagram. Hopefully, we can continue that momentum and keep riding the wave. All right. Masculine said, "Congrats on IG. Thank you, sir. Thank you for that." So, right now, Instagram is kind of my means of still showing like Budo for the followers, and definitely a lot of people enjoy the top three posts for each month. They just vote for the people that they like and everything based on the posts we put up, and whoever's our top three towards our regular podcast, that's who we showcase, and then we send them a thank you for allowing us to share their posts. And I tell you, Instagram is a great another great avenue to connect with people. So we're hoping to get more interviews from people through that avenue. So yeah. All right, we still got time. Aizusama says the form of karate I basically study is also known as Kaju Kinbo or Kaji Kimbo. Hmm. I've heard of Kaju Kinbo, but this is my first time hearing of Kaji Kimbo. So hey, interesting, very interesting. Jay Wolf asks, "Have you played Devil May Cry?" No, I have not played that before. Is it a pretty good game? Okay. See. Jay Wolf said, "From what I've seen of it, yes, I think it is." Okay. I will have to take a look at it. Adrian says, "You love Sigma." Okay. All right. If you if you and Jay Wolf saying that Devil May Cry is a pretty good game, I will definitely have to check it out. Isasama says, I believe the Chinese version is called Kaji Kimbo. They're all similar. I got some stories to tell from the old World War II days before our professor was allowed to teach it on the mainland. Ooh. Whoa. Did this guy, by chance, did he have a run in with IP Man? Because IP Man, he he definitely had some stories too before World War II. All right, definitely. I like these questions and comments. Definitely, you guys feel free. Feel free. As this how it says, I'm not sure, but the old fights I heard how the two warring dojos got into regular fights in Hawaii. Wow, man, that'll definitely be interesting. Now I'm curious. See. Altruism asks, have you watched any really good psychological thriller animes? My go-to is Monster. Hmm. You know, Altruism, I haven't ventured into thriller animes. Huh. I guess I have to check what's all that about. J-Bo asks, what's your favorite anime if you have one? So yeah, it was the same question that Atrism asked earlier, J Wolf, but I'll give you my top three. Number one is Bleach, especially with the Thousand Year War coming up. Always been a fan of Bleach and everything, so definitely that's my number one. Number two is Ronin Warriors. Also in Japan, it's called Samurai Troopers. That was kind of like my main anime that I grew up watching. And then coming in at number three is Samurai X, or some call Rurouni Kitchen. So those are at least my top three animes of all time. And you know what? Thanks for reminding me, Jay Wolf. So last night I released a video of an artwork that was done by our good friend Nielsen, who is our official artist for the Black Ronins. If you haven't noticed on the last video, pretty much the three elements of Bleach, Samurai Trooper, or Ronin Warriors, and Rurouni Kitchen were all kind of meshed in into that art. So if you haven't picked up on that, I highly recommend watching that short little video that we did. Which, by the way, it's definitely going to be more of that type of artwork coming down the pipe. So you guys are in for a treat. J Will says, cool, nice. Nice list. Two of them I know of. Very cool. JJ Wilson says, oh, Roroni Kitchen. What was your reaction when you found out the creator was caught with child porn a few years back? Yeah. That. Eh. You know, this is kind of like where I enjoy the work and not the person. So whatever that person got going in his private life, you know, all I can advise is he needs to go get help. But thankfully, I'm able to separate the work from the creator. So Rurouni Kitchen will always be my favorite. You know, he did not base his issues on the anime. So I can at least say that the anime has nothing to do with his personal issues. But yeah, I would definitely say for the creator, he definitely needs to go get help. JJ says, and now he's been released and working on the series again, set in Hokkaido. Yeah, I've heard he's planning to resurrect it, or at least he plans to continue the Rurouni Kitchen series. Yeah, truism is true. Like JJ was said, this happened back in 2018. So thankfully, like I said, he did not influence his demons into that anime. So I can at least say the anime is definitely not part of his issues. But yeah, he definitely needs some help. All right. We'll give it a few more minutes and then we'll go ahead and close it down. So, if you guys got any last questions or comments, feel free. JJ Wilson says, I felt the same way, but no English translations I could find for the current art. True. And ironically, the reason why you can't find English translation is because ever since that came out of his issue, which was happening during the time of they were doing the English translations, nobody really wanted to work with it, which is understandable, very understandable. So I'm going to be curious to see how he's able to um, restore his reputation. It says, "Oh, after Magneto, who would be the next villain of the month?" Oh, you know what, JJ, I will have to look at my schedule again. I thought Megatron is next. Don't quote me on it, but I'll definitely have to look it up to see who's up for the month of May. As always says, I just looked up some of my old chief instructor's vids on Facebook, and he was still going hardcore about a year ago. Wow, impressive. As always says, that's easy, JJ. It's me. You know what? It might be Aizen. Sosuke Aizen for next month's villain of the month. Don't quote me on it, but I'll definitely look at the list. Um, I'll definitely look at the list before Sunday's villain of the month coming up. Which, by the way, if you haven't, definitely you want to tune in to Sunday's villain of the month series. We are going to be going in on some of these villains as far as their philosophies. Do we relate to their philosophies? And then one of my favorite parts is, can you survive in that villain's world? Atrism says, I watched through them villains. Yeah, I think you'll enjoy this series we got coming up. Um, I definitely like to talk about the philosophy behind the thinking of these villains and how much we relate to them or not. But I think you'll be surprised. You'll be surprised. J Will says surviving in Marvel Universe? Yikes. Hey, you never know. You never know. Masculinity says Iman Boz Tempe. Iman Boz Tempe used to harass IP Man and challenge him wherever he went, but he waited to IP Man was very old to challenge. Hmm. Okay. Interesting. I never heard of Iman Boss 10P, but it's interesting. Atrism says, I'd like to hear what you think of Megatron. He's on the list. He's on the list coming up. I don't think he's going to be on next month's Villain of the Month, but he's definitely coming up pretty soon. From the list we gathered, he's definitely on a lot of people's top list. So, and SKC, if you're listening in, definitely need to show up at least for Megatron because that's your character. JJ Woodard asks your thoughts on the SYSBM book. You know, I think it was a pretty well done book. In my opinion, a lot of the stuff I definitely feel like if someone is starting off at SYSBM, this is a good handbook to kind of understand the philosophy behind it and whether it's the right path for you or not. So I think Mad Bus Driver, Kitty Jones, SKC, and Babatunde, they really did an excellent job on that book. So definitely recommend it if you're interested in that lifestyle. Aizawa says, surviving in the Bleach universe. Hey, this is where I'm curious to see how this 1,000 year war is going to be like. If it's more action than compared to at least, the Arrancar arc and everything, yeah, that will definitely make you think twice. All right, so we got maybe 2 more minutes. So, again, any last comments or questions, just feel free, and then we'll close it down for the night. And then the next time you see me won't be till Sunday when we do the Villains of the Month series. Aizusama says, it's brutal and crazy over the top than the Arrancar arc. Exactly. That's what I'm hearing too. From what I've read so far, the 1,000 year war arc is pretty much in a world of its own compared to the previous arcs. So I'm just like, okay, we're going to see how this looks on the anime version. J Wolf says, my problem with is all their futures are bad from what you. Okay, I think you talk about the villains. Ah, you may be surprised as far as their philosophies. And then Atriism says, can't wait. All right, so right now it is 7:10 here on the Pacific Coast. So we are going to go ahead and close it down. So first and foremost, again, thank you all so much for helping us to reach 500. Definitely appreciate the love and support you guys give to the Black Ronins, the culture bombs, and any other videos we put up here on this channel. And so definitely just thank you all for being great supporters and great fans. And so we got more coming down the pipe. This is only the beginning. First stop is 500, and then the next stop is going to be 1,000. So definitely feel free to share the content with any other familiar people who will be interested in this. Feel free to share on Instagram as well because we're using that avenue to kind of get some more people interested, at least for interviews and all. So feel free to share there. But also too, like I said, we definitely got more coming down the pipe. So you guys are in for some treats, some great treats as well. Oh, that reminds me. Um, Later on this year, we're hoping probably towards late fall, maybe early winter, we will be starting up the Black Ronins merchandise. So you guys will be able to get your own shirts, get your own personalized items with the Black Ronins logo. And so we are definitely looking forward to get that up and going sometime later this year. So that just slipped my mind, but I now finally remembered it. So with that said, again, thank you all for being such great fans and subscribers. Tune in on Sunday for the first ever Villains of the Month. And until then, you all have a great night, and I will see you there.